Hey, this is Splatterhead.
And this is Fitz.
And you're listening to the Fan Club Blitz. Hey, this is Splatterhead.
And Fitz.
Welcome to episode 1. I still crack up saying that. Episode 1. We already did an episode.
Exactly.
All right, episode 1.
We don't rule the computer world for whatever reason. I don't know.
Episode 1 of the Fan Club Blitz.
Welcome back.
Hey, Fitz, you been watching any of this soccer ball that's been going on?
I have been. I'm actually I'm a big fan of the World Cup. Like, not so much soccer in general, but when World Cup comes around, I find myself glued to the TV. I don't know why.
That's like me with curling in the Olympics.
True. It's the sport doesn't make any sense, but when it's put on a big stage, it draws you in. It
does. I've been following the World Cup since 1994 when it was here in the States.
Oh yeah. That was I remember that year. That was the year Ireland beat Italy.
That's right.
That was a big game, especially that's when I was still living back down in Totowa area, which is a very, very big Italian area. And I'll never forget, I was watching the game at the American Legion bar, and I was one of about 4 Irishmen surrounded by what felt like the entire island of Italy watching that game.
What's the matter? Murph's wasn't open yet?
Oh, no, they were open. But you know what? You go down, you're a member, you're a Sons of the American Legion, you get their $1 beers. So you know what? You really can't pass that up.
That's true. I'm a member of the American Legion myself.
So there you go.
But I hang out at the Irish Cottage anyway.
It's true. I don't know what brought me down that night, but it was there that afternoon, and it was a great game, and a lot of unhappy Italian folk. But whatever, you gotta. Life has their ups and downs, and that was a down for them.
Right, and you were happy.
I was always, I'm always usually happy, regardless. But that just made me a little bit more happy.
We were all kind of rooting for USA that year because we were in the cup. But,
yeah, we were.
We don't play soccer.
No. And you know what? It's kind of like a kick in the nads. Like, yeah, USA won the World Cup. Yay, who cares? It's not football.
I know that it's part of the game, and you want to draw fouls. It's part of the game worldwide. I understand that. But I think if you're going to flop around on the ground because somebody taps you on the shoulder, don't do it with full sleeves of tattoos, because either you have a threshold for pain or you don't.
Yeah, it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
So who you rooting for this World Cup?
Right now, this is a tough one. Germany's out. I was always a big Germany fan.
I'm still mad at them for the whole Nazi thing.
Yeah, well, it happens. Right now, it's down to Denmark and Croatia for me. I can't. The whole Viking thing. I'm a little obsessed with Viking culture, so. Yeah, as long as there's a Viking with parentheses there nation still in, I gotta go with them. Otherwise, I think Croatia actually is a real legit good team, and they actually have a really good shot at going the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm all in for Croatia myself. I think actually the match started about 18 minutes ago, and I'm not watching because we're doing a podcast. I think they're a better team than Russia. I do fear that if Russia gets eliminated today, there's probably going to be some violence over there, especially with 2 Eastern European teams and those Russian football hooligans. Whatever, football. It's not football, it's soccer.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, though, it'll make some great YouTube footage, because I don't know if anybody saw the one Russian fan that was all excited after their win over Spain that for about 3 seconds hopped on a police car and was jumping up and down, and then literally got the beaten out of him for probably about 3 times the amount of time that he bounced on that car. So it'll make for some amazing video footage.
Yeah, it worked out well for him.
Yeah, that's one of those I'm not going to do that again.
I think the Russian police have less restrictions.
Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, here we are again at the Irish Cottage, hosting our brand spanking new podcast. Really brand new because this is episode 1.
Right, which is technically episode 2, but it's episode 1 in iPod world.
Right, because you start with iPod world. Podcast world?
Podcast. I'm sorry, podcast. I am not a technology guy, people, so I'm going to screw up with referring to this kind of stuff. Just, you're going to have to deal with it. Sorry.
Also, there's a lot of knobs on this mixing board, and someday I'm going to learn what they do. Speaking of technology. Anyway, soccer, that was fun to talk about. There's no football to talk about. There's not a worse time for a football fan than the middle of July.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's still some feedback about people arguing about draft picks. And, like I know you covered this in episode 0 about, talk to me about draft picks 4 years from now. Like, how much are you going to talk about a kid out of college? How great's he going to be? You don't know. Nobody knows. You have the freaks like the Dan Marinos that are going to be amazing coming out, but the majority of the guys coming out of the draft, you have no idea.
I mean, we even have some guys in our group that, brought their laptops to the draft party and, following everything and all the statistics and who's who and what's going on. And at the end of the day, and people complaining about every single pick and second guessing. Look, there's a whole staff of people that are paid a lot of money to figure this stuff out, and me sitting on my couch thinking that I know better is probably just me being stupid.
Yeah, it's insane. I actually laughed watching all the social media outrage from, I'm just going to go with Raiders fans because I'm a Raider fan myself, about analyzing every pick. What are they thinking? Really? My only complaint with draft night was that I had to go home. We all came to the Irish Cottage. I didn't bring a laptop. I brought an appetite for beer and food. Right. And my only complaint was I actually had to go home that night.
Right. And there was no Motorhead playing.
That's always a complaint.
Or Beowulf.
That too.
Beowulf is actually playing their first show in 4 years today in Chino, California, which I'm pretty excited about, even though I can't go. But I think my son's going, which is pretty awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. You should actually have him maybe do some filming from his cell phone.
He won't do it. No, he'll be too busy in the pit.
Yeah,
acting like a madman.
You can't blame him. I'll tell you that would actually be pretty amazing, though. That show.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing show, and my kid's a beast. He's a lot of fun.
Good.
Chip,
Good.
More of a man than I ever was. So pretty proud of the guy. And he's a diehard Raiders fan,
which only makes him a lot much better.
And he's still mourning Lemmy.
But there's no words for that. And people, as you can see where we're going with this, yeah, it's a football podcast. It's a fan club podcast. But we're all about everything else. You want to talk about your favorite beers you drink on game day or any day of the week, your favorite food, your favorite bands. We're open for anything. There's nothing that we will not talk about and pretend that we're a friggin' scholar on, even if we're not.
Right, absolutely. We really don't know anything.
No, but we will. You will think that we're an expert on everything, and we're not, though.
If you look at the pictures of what we're doing right now, we look incredibly professional.
Yes, but the bottom line is we're actually borderline retarded.
We have no idea what we're doing.
No.
Again, back to the knobs. And then I have to edit this thing. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a 12-pack right there.
Right. We'll spend maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours recording, and then I don't know how long I'm going to spend editing this thing.
But that's why God made Miller High Life, and He made it very affordable for the masses.
And I have some very cold Miller High Lifes. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to say Corona Modelo.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's why God made Corona Modelo.
Actually, no, the show is not sponsored by Corona Modelo. However, the Black Hole,
yes,
of which we are members, I'm the president of the New Jersey chapter. Yeah, actually, who cares? Nobody cares about who the president is. It's a club. We get together, we hang out, and we're all friends, and we all have an equal say on everything. And I don't get to wear a funny hat that's Chuck's the president.
We should get you a funny hat.
I don't want one. If I
might find a funny hat for you now.
Religions and cults and all that stuff give out funny hats. That's how you know that you've joined a cult. Next thing you know, you're wearing a funny hat. What is it that it doesn't really matter what kind of religion that you're in, but God likes hats. And there's nothing written about it in any of the books, but the minute
they're fashionable. Hats are fashionable.
God really likes hats. I don't know why.
Funny hats. Funny hats.
Even if people are the Buddhists don't have hats. Yeah, they have hats.
I'm going to say though, the one hat I always wanted and I would take to this day is the Flintstones Water Buffalo Lodge hat.
That would be a nice hat.
That is an awesome hat. We get that in black and silver. That's my game day hat from forever now.
Right.
Big giant with that's awesome.
Very awesome. So what are some of the events we have coming up here at the cottage? What did we do? Last year we did the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Sussex County, New Jersey. And we actually had people come in from out of state for that. Let me tell you something. There was not a Giants fan club. There was not a Jets fan club. There was not a Steelers or an Eagles fan club marching in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. There was a Raiders fan club marching in the parade. And sure, we got a couple of boos and we got some, a lot of weird looks. Because, you come up over a little hill, you come around a corner, and all of a sudden, you got bagpipers, you got the firemen, volunteer firemen, you got the, 4-H, and then all of a sudden here come these guys, and we were wearing kilts, silver and black kilts, and Raider jerseys, and we had multiple Raider flags out there. Not only were we the only one here, I'd be willing to bet we're probably one of the only Raiders clubs marching in any St. Patrick's Day parade across the country.
Including Oakland, San Francisco area. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we're doing that again next year.
Yeah, and you know what? Next year, we're stepping it up a notch. I wasn't able to be involved this past year. This upcoming year, I plan on being involved with it, and we're going to make it bigger. I used to play in a pipe and drum band. I'm going to try. Can't promise anything, but I'm going to try to get us our own personal bagpiper to play while in our group area as we're on the parade route. We'll see where we go.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Oh, God. Imagine Ace of Spades on pipes or Overkill itself. It's...
How about the Autumn Wind?
No. You're going to make me cry. You know what? We should actually just get a float and we'll just have a regular band play as we're going.
Right. Yeah. We'll do our. We're talking about putting a little band together for this season. We've got a lot of musicians in this club, but we're talking about putting a little band together where we kind of, we're from North Jersey, so the Misfits are kind of a special thing to us. I mean, the real Misfits.
Yeah, the pre-fat dancing, getting knocked out at clubs,
right?
Like the old, we're talking back into the 70s. Misfits.
Not the comeback stuff, not the $250 ticket at a giant arena stuff, but the Misfits. Big part of my life growing up. But we're talking about putting maybe a Misfits cover tribute band together, but we're going to change all the lyrics to be Raiders themed,
which could be either awesome or actually be horrible. Maybe a little bit of both. It all depends on how much. The more you drink, the better we're going to sound.
Like the Misfits.
Throw that out there right now.
Like the Misfits.
Exactly.
Awesome and horrible at the same time.
All at the same time. Perfect. Music that a 5-year-old could play, which is awesome.
Exactly. And a 5-year-old could have written most of the lyrics, too, if he was a little bit twisted, But there's songs about Martians, and we're going to sing about, we're from Jersey, so we can sing about Tatum.
And Skittles. We can
sing about Phil Valapiano.
We have to get a Skittles song in there for our co-host, Tom.
That's right. Yeah,
we need a song about
Skittles.
Mr. Skittles. He actually never even ate Skittles until Marshawn came to the Raiders. And now you can't get the damn bags out of his hand. He's Skittles 24/7.
Pours them down his throat. All right, cool. Let's get into this show, episode number 1.
And anybody that's still listening to us, we're going to get into the actual show now.
The autumn wind is a pirate. Blustering in from sea, with a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the...
All right, this is Splatterhead, and today I am joined by Fitz Jr.
Hello.
What's going on there, Liam?
Nothing much. I'm glad to be here.
All right, it's good to have you. So, you're a Raiders fan.
Yes.
And you're in New Jersey.
Correct.
Surrounded by Giants, Jets, Eagles, Steelers, all those fans of those terrible teams.
Yes.
Right? And what's that been like growing up?
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, I really wasn't into that much football. I was mainly a baseball kind of guy. But then, my dad started watching more at home, and I kind of was like, peeking over, watching it. I didn't find it too interesting. But then we started coming here, watching Raiders games, and then you guys were there off to the side, and then, we became a part of the group. And then I started to get more into the Raiders, and then I started to look up their history, and I just fell in love with that. And ever since, I become a bigger fan of the Raiders and football in general.
Nice. You have a favorite player from either history or modern times?
Well, from the past, probably Bo Jackson.
Nice.
And from now, I'd have to say Derek Carr.
Right on. Both awesome players and in their own ways too. You know, two solid guys.
Yes.
And but from completely different eras. Mm-hmm. So those are good picks.
Thank you.
So how old are you now?
I'm 15.
Right on. 15-year-old Raider fan. This is the future of Raiders fandom, and that's right. You can roll us around. Any other Raiders fans in your high school?
Oh yeah, there are a couple.
Ever hand out any business cards and tell them to come down to the Irish Cottage and watch some games?
I could.
Yeah, you should do that. You should do that. So your dad is obviously a big Raiders fan.
Yes.
He's the co-host on this show, by the way. Yeah, it's kind of neat, right? All of a sudden we're podcasting. Podcasters. No idea what we're doing. Flying by the seat of our pants here. So you grew up, he was, probably like my kids thought that they, for a few months out of the year, they thought that there was just some crazy person living in their house that every Sunday, some Monday nights would just scream at the TV and supported some team from 3,000 miles away.
Exactly.
That never won a football game. So you must have experienced some of that growing up, too?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What was that like?
It was definitely interesting seeing a different side to my dad that I normally wouldn't see. But I mean, now I see it a lot.
Yeah. Except we actually win some games now.
We do.
And what are your predictions for next season?
I don't want to get my hopes too up, but I mean, anything could happen,
Yeah, smart. Because last season we got our hopes up pretty high, didn't we? Mm-hmm. I think everybody did.
Yes.
I've been, for years I avoided like NFL and NFL Network and ESPN and all the football shows because first of all, they never talked about us anyway.
Yeah.
Like they just put us on the back burner. And when they did talk about us, they didn't have anything good to say. All of a sudden, July last year, all they could talk about were the Raiders. The Raiders are coming back. Vegas had us, number one bets on who's going to go to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And we all bought into the hype too. We had reason to. We came off of a good season. If Carr didn't get hurt and things seemed to be going in the right direction. We had and then we picked up, Mr. Skittles.
Yes,
Marshawn, beast mode. He signed on, and the guy was retired, right? And we were like, wow, we got Cooper, we got Crab, we got Carr, we got beast mode, we got this offense is looking unstoppable. And we watched the first 2 games, and they looked unstoppable. Of course, who do we play? Then all of a sudden, week 3 rolls around. We play the Redskins, and this raspberry sound keeps going in my ear. I don't know if you should do that on a podcast, but they just stink up the joint.
They do.
That was Tom. Our friend Pat says stinking up the joint was Tom. We've got a pretty cool question for you.
Okay.
Your first Raider game.
Yes.
Your first tailgate party.
Yes.
Was where?
In Philadelphia.
And when was it?
December 24th.
Right. Day before Lemmy's birthday.
Yes.
And how was that for you?
It was fun. I had a lot of fun. It was interesting to see all these other people that were, going crazy for the same team. And, it felt, homely, I guess. Yeah.
Everybody felt at home. It was a nice warm evening.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, it was freezing. I think I've permanently damaged my toes. Chuck Taylors are not the ideal footwear for Philadelphia in the wintertime when it is negative 30 or whatever it was. It was really cold that night.
It was.
Liam, appreciate you talking to us.
All right, thanks.
It's awesome to have you as part of the Black Hole, and eventually you're going to have to not only be the president of this chapter, you're also going to have to host this podcast, because there's going to be a point when me and your dad are just completely incoherent and babbling, wandering around in our pajamas. You're going to have to point us to our Miller High. No, we'll find that. Corona Modelo. Sorry. Anyway, man, thanks for being part of the Black Hole.
Thanks for having me.
The honor's ours.
Hey, what's up? This is Tom, and this is the Truth with Tom segment. We're going to get slightly political here for a moment. The Philadelphia Eagles caused a lot of commotion about not going to the White House because of Trumpy or whatever their reasons are. Well, here's my take. The president is under no obligation to entertain anyone at the White House, let alone sports teams. So, my take on the whole thing is, being I bleed silver and black, and in the summer I bleed pinstripes for the Yankees. Nobody would come to the White House unless it was the Raiders or the Yankees, if I'm the president. And that's the bottom line. I'm not going to entertain the Eagles. I'm not going to entertain the Donkeys. I'm not going to entertain the Giants. I'm not going to entertain anybody. Basketball, you're done. You have no shot of even ending up on the steps of the White House with me. Maybe a hockey team if I'm in a good mood. But, the deal is, I'm a Raiders fan. I'm a Yankee fan. They win, they get invited. All the rest of you, you're out of luck. You have a state house, go there. That's the Truth with Tom. Have a nice day.
Well, Fitz, what'd you think of the Truth with Tom there?
Awesome, as always. And you know what? Like I said, he throws it out there. You might like it. You might dislike it. None of us really care. But it's the Truth with Tom. And it is what it is. And I feel it's awesome.
For a minute there, I thought I was going to have to come on and do a disclaimer. The opinions expressed by Tom are not necessarily the opinions of Fan Club Blitz or Murph's Fan Club. And then he just went exactly where I should have expected him to go.
He did, but all I could say is it's still early in our podcast career that disclaimer may still be thrown out there.
Yes, we should just make a sound clip just to make sure. The opinions expressed by Tom are not necessarily the opinions of the fan club Blitz, Splatterhead, Fitz, Donald Trump,
America,
the Raiders, the Black Hole fan club, or
anybody
other than Tom.
Exactly. And like I said, any of you Family Guy fans out there, stay tuned, because this is going to in my opinion, I see this turning into a grind my gears segment. What grinds my gears with Tom? And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Keep it going, keep it going.
All right, so I got another guest today. This is my good friend Danny Barr. He's a Jets fan.
That would be correct.
Yeah, I feel for you.
Don't.
I mean,
I'm also a Yankees fan, so being a Jet fan is my penance.
Okay, there you go.
Being a Yankees fan.
All right, that works. I do feel a little bit of empathy with Jets fans though, because it's tough, and I can relate. Because as a Raiders fan, yeah, we had some pretty cool, memorable years, but also a whole lot of nothing.
Just a lot of rooting for a good draft pick.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then you get one and it just turns into crap. Right?
Well, the Jets are notorious for the worst drafting team in history.
Or you get some good drafts and then you don't use them.
Well, when you use your number one pick to pick a kicker.
Well, we did that. It worked out well for us.
Yeah, well, yeah. Your kicker could have been a linebacker.
Maybe they were copying our lead, right? One of the things I wanted to ask you about, you're well, I'm not going to say that you're a barfly, but you're a regular here at the Irish Cottage Inn.
Well, the name is Bar.
Right. It is. You're a regular here at the cottage, and we started up this Raiders Club last season, kind of mid-season the year before. What's that like, coming into, as a Jets fan in Jersey, coming into the local bar and just having all these Raiders fans and flags hanging up in the corner?
I have no problem with it. It also helps that I'm friends with half of you.
Right. Yeah. That's very helpful.
Outside of football. But to be honest with you, when I was a kid, excuse me, I was as much a Raider fan as I was a Jet fan.
I don't understand that, but that's okay.
Okay, well, it's easily explained. When I was a kid, I saw the movie MASH, and there was a really big guy playing in the football game, and I was curious about who he was. And then he was in a sitcom called Ball 4. So without ever seeing him play football, I became a Ben Davidson fan.
There you go.
And from that, it led to Ted Hendricks. It led to Lyle Alzado. And at that time, Madden was coaching, then Flores was coaching. They were just the most exciting team in football.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good time. I mean, I was a kid then, and same thing. I mean, I lived in California, so it was a lot easier to, be surrounded by the Raiders and Raiders fandom.
I always had to wait for the Raider-Jet game. And then I'd get to see Alzado take his helmet off and beat Chris Ward with it.
Good stuff. But as far as having a local bar, and I mean, it's kind of a unique thing, right? Especially since where we are. We're kind of out here in you guys call them mountains out here. I'm from California. These are hills. But out here in the hills of New Jersey, we actually attract a pretty sizable crowd sometimes.
You get a great crowd. You get probably a bigger crowd than any other single team.
And I have to credit a lot of that to, the Jets and the Giants teams are on TV and our teams aren't.
Right.
And, at least there's more Jets fans in the bar usually than Giants fans, because Jets fans can't afford the NFL package.
Or are we willing to pay the the fee?
Right. Yeah. Well, you can't afford it because I'm not paying that. When this is what kind of season am I going to get? Raiders fans are the same way. I'm not. No. How much? No, thanks. I'll go down to the bar. I'll spend $300 there a day, but I'm not going to spend
$2,500 on a licensing fee.
Exactly.
But they I will say though that today, as compared to when we were kids, you only had 2 games a week.
Right.
And then Monday Night Football added a 3rd game. And if you were not a local fan, then you waited for your team to come on Monday Night Football or waited for your team to come to New York. And so it was more difficult to be a fan of an outside team if you lived in New Jersey.
Sure.
As compared to now where you can watch every one of your favorite team's games.
Right, which is nice. It is a good deal, and it's great that we can come down here and hang out at the cottage, and Peter and Damien are awesome. They really taken to us and taken care of us, and even letting us turn their party room into our podcast studio, which is great. It's a nice community. It really is. This whole area is cool.
Well, the cottage is a family.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're happy to be part of that, as because the cottage is the black hole of New Jersey.
Okay, more ways than one.
All right, Dan, man, it was really cool talking to you. I was hoping you were going to stop by today because I wanted to get you on here and just see what your experience was like. Having your local watering hole be taken over by Raiders fans every Sunday during football season.
The bigger the crowd, the more exciting it is. It doesn't matter that you're on one end of the room watching one TV and I'm on the other end. Just having that atmosphere of football fans is great.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Chuck.
Hey, y'all got to show me something. Hey, let's go. Pick this up.
Welcome back. I'm here now with Mr. Pat O'Brien, one of the OGs from the New Jersey Black Hole. He was one of the very beginning guys with Chuck, myself, a couple other random mental patients. So, Pat, tell me, what made you become a Raider fan?
I've liked the Raiders for many years. Back in the 70s, because I'm kind of older there with you guys too. So I've been watching them a long time. Some of the great games they've had over the years. It was really fun to watch, and the attitude and the welcoming crowd of people to come and see the games, I always cheer for the Raiders unless they're playing Green Bay.
Yeah, which kind of brings me to my next disturbing question. Chuck brought it to my attention, and I didn't want to believe it to be true, but it's a reality that you are also I'm going to try to say this and get it out in one sentence, a Green Bay Packer fan.
Oh yeah, it's there's a lot of people out there who think like that, but we've been blessed for a couple, almost few decades now, having great quarterbacks with nobody else around them. And you guys just picked up one of our guys, Jordy Nelson, which should be a big improvement on the receivers. He's incredible, and you're going to see a lot more of him playing with the Raiders this year.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about Jordy Nelson, and I did hear that he did play with another team prior to coming over, and yeah, was it the Packers? I didn't realize that there was a team there. Okay, no, that's fine.
Well, it is the oldest team in football, so just so you know, that's without them, there wouldn't be an AFC or Raiders. Yeah. It's also the smallest market, and they're also sold out through like the year 4000 or something. So, how's your stadium?
Yeah, they wear foam cheeses.
I'm totally against that.
Okay. Listen, and I'll give them the pass on. They are crazy. I mean, anybody that is going to take their shirt off in sub-zero weather during a game, I don't care how
those people, hundreds of them. It's insane.
It's insane, and I've been very drunk at many times in my life, and very drunk at cold venues. Yet I'm still not taking my shit off. So I got to give kudos to the craziness of Packer fans to do that.
Yeah, they're they're really great people. If there's ever a chance to go and watch a game with Packers fans. The Irish Cottage has been very, very accommodating when I'm coming here to watch Raiders games with you guys. I love the Raiders, but they also put a Packers game on where I can see that TV also while I sit with you guys. And we are the black and blue division, just in case you were wondering.
No, absolutely. And you know what? There are, all joking aside, there are teams that we break chops about other teams, but the Packers are one of those teams. Like I put them on a different level. The Packers, the Giants, they're not asswipe teams, as I like to refer.
Please don't put the Giants in the same category of Green Bay, just because they're that old too.
I get that, but I mean, I like the old school. The Bears, the Packers. Even you want to go the Browns.
You just put the Bears in there too. I don't know. I might have to take these headphones off.
I'm just going old school. The old, you brought the old school team original thing up, so I have to run with that.
Yeah,
listen, the one thing that's awesome about, I mean, like or dislike the Giants, the Bears, one thing is awesome, that they're not the Jets. So that's something that we can all be happy about. They're not the Jets.
Nobody's the Jets.
Okay, before I let you go, this is something I want to start drawing out of all our guests. Because like I said, we're all a unique group. Our Raider people, we all have very similar kind of taste in things. As a Raider fan, what music makes you think of the Raiders?
What music makes you think of the Raiders?
Or what band, I should say.
What band? I really don't relate it to a band. I'm not a big like metalhead, but like the type, like the Motorhead type metal and like Slayer and Venom, stuff like that would really translate into something for the Raiders to me, especially Venom.
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely. I would have to say the same to metal, but I think a lot of hardcore and punk would also translate into a good.
Oh yeah.
I think Black Flag is one of those bands that makes me think of Raiders for some reason when I start hearing their stuff.
I hear you. Raiders, whenever I go, I drove the van for you guys last year out to Staten Island, and you guys are always a good class act, and just like the Packers, and that's why I enjoy hanging out with the Black Hole every Sunday, watching some games.
Well, good, and we're hoping to see more of you this year because we want, especially our original people, here more often.
I had a very high maintenance, very intoxicated girlfriend that was embarrassing to take in public 99% of the time. So that's why I didn't make so many games last year's guys. But that's gone, and I'll be back.
Oh, good. That's funny because my wife almost says the same thing about me. But that's great. But all right, thanks for coming on, and definitely looking forward to seeing you this season.
I will definitely be here. Go Raiders!
Well, thanks for tuning in. As always, this is the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz and Tom.
Absolutely. Thank you for once again listening to us and sharing your personal area with us, which that actually sounds a little bit perverted, but hey, we're gonna keep that. You're sharing your personal area with us, whether you like it or not.
Whoa! The opinions expressed by Fitz are not necessary.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's. We're gonna sign off before this gets into a bad territory.
Well, before we sign off, once again, thanks to the Irish Cottage Inn for having us not only here as a fan club, but also for turning their private party room into our podcast studio. It's a great relationship, and if you get the chance, come on down to the Irish Cottage Inn, Route 23 in Franklin, New Jersey. Also, if you're a member of the Black Hole and you come down and present your Black Hole membership card, you're going to get 10% off when you're here.
Which is awesome. Yeah, they're great. I can't say enough. Like I said, we're on a personal friendship level with the owners here. They're great people. I can't say enough about it. Like I said, I was a regular here prior to the whole black hole thing coming to fruition here.
Yeah, we met here.
Yep, absolutely. They're great people, great food, great atmosphere, great everything. I can't say enough about this place. I mean, they're just awesome.
Yeah, no, they're great hosts, great, we have a great relationship, and it's awesome. So, come check them out. And also, if you're listening to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast, make sure you hit like, however you do that. I think there's a thing where you can hit like, or you can give it stars. You can do something. You can do something that says you enjoy this podcast, and you better do it.
Do it now. Otherwise, I don't know anything that he's talking about right now, but just do it.
Obviously, I don't know anything that I'm talking about either. But there's a thing you can do. There's a thing where it says, yes, I'm a fan of this. And there's or no, I'm not a fan of this. You can click that too. And look, we're all for it. Like us, hate us. I think we want to know.
Yes, but like us is better.
And again, give us a call. Those voicemails, 732-798-0257. And leave a message about anything. And we'll play your voicemails on the show if we like them, or if you have a question for us, or you have an idea, suggestion. And again, Tom's looking for topics. I mean, he's got plenty in his own head, but if you wanna have Tom address something on The Truth with Tom, relationship advice, financial advice.
He is, without a doubt, our black hole version of Dr. Phil.
Absolutely, which is. Again, we're all a little bit screwed up, and I'm not going to blame it on Tom. We were screwed up before we met, but using him as our therapist it's probably helped.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And again,
2 + 2 is 3.
And just to keep on the Tom theme, if you don't hit the like button, Tom will drown puppies. It's going to happen. So if you care about puppies at all, you will hit the like button on our show.
Absolutely. And while you're at it, make sure that you listen to all the other shows on Murph's Fan Cave. They got their start with Raiders Fan Radio, and like I said, there's a hockey show coming up. Once we get the names of all these shows down, we'll clean up our act and we'll get everything right. But there's good stuff coming.
Absolutely. Murph, he's awesome. The shows are awesome. Definitely check him out.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. You've been listening to
Fitz
and Splatterhead
on the Fan Club
Blitz.
All right, this is Tom. I guess we're going to be wrapping up our show here. If you have any questions for me, or you want to call in and talk about anything you want on the Raider Fan Club Blitz, our number is 732-798-0257. Feel free. Ask me about Mr. Skittles. I love Mr. Skittles. We're also going to give a shout out to the Irish Cottage, our home base. They are located at 602 Route 23 North in Franklin, New Jersey. And their number is 973-827-2090. And give us a call. Let us know what you think. Questions, comments, anything you want to say. Feel free. Talk to you next week. Bye.